Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for the Insurance Leadership Podcast. We have some returning guests today, Sharon Alford, who's the VP of Direct-to-Consumer Development, and we have Warren Laird, who is the Marketing Director for Individual Products. They're both with VSP. They've both been on the podcast before. Sharon, one of our first guests we've ever had. And since then, we've grown this to millions and millions of followers, so we appreciate you sticking with us. And Warren did one with us last year, and we enjoyed that one as well. He talked to us a little bit about his longevity at VSP. And, you know, Sharon has been essential in a lot of relationships that we've had with her at different roles, at different carriers and different jobs within the same carrier, but she's been really essential to a lot of the partnerships that we have here at Morgan White. So we want to talk to Warren and Sharon today a little bit about what's new at VSP, what they're doing since we've talked last. So start out, just tell us, Sharon, a little bit about what you're doing there now.
Sure. I've been there about a little over 7 years now. I just can't believe it's gone that fast. And my primary role is really growing the individual space for VSP, which it's the fastest growing unit in our organization. And it has been for the last few years. So what I get to do is, I just told Mike Ayette, our president, that I love my job, and he asked me why. And I said, well, goodness, I get to sell to so many different people and so many different avenues. And VSP has a really fun product. So my job is really uncovering new opportunities and new relationships to grow our division.
Well, and I know recently, Sharon, you've also taken on some responsibility of growing the ICRA side of your business, right? So kind of crossing a little bit over the aisle from individual to group. And I'm interested in chatting a little bit about that too. But
we have a lot to talk about on that one.
Great.
Yeah.
So Warren, tell us what's new with you at VSP.
Well, I have been with VSP since 1995. I've always been in a sales role.
Okay.
It's something that I wasn't sure I would love, but I did love and do love. I've worked for Sharon for the past 7.5 years. Worked with her, she probably would prefer me to say, and that's true. It's been a real interesting journey for me to get out of the group side and move to the individual side here with VSP. And I'm loving it, and I'm enjoying my time with Sharon for as long as we can make it last, and the success has been terrific, as she mentioned.
So you're planning on sticking around a little while, right?
A little while longer, yes.
Well, guys, tell me a little bit about not just you personally, but in general, what do you see changing with VSP, or maybe just the benefits landscape in general? I know we touched briefly on ICRA, and I know that's something that's new to a lot of people. Any of the listeners, if you're not familiar with ICRA, it's an individual coverage HRA, and it's a strategy really to sell individual products to a group. And they're paid for by a contribution from the employer. So a lot different than what most people are familiar with in the general kind of employer-employee, we buy you insurance relationship, right? So, that's something we're seeing a lot in the benefits landscape. In general, we work with a lot of brokers, and we're seeing more people chatting about it. And I'm sure that's kind of how it's become a topic of conversation at VSP as well. So tell us, Sharon, a little bit about the changing landscape that you see with benefits.
Sure. I mean, with individual, I think one other significant change has been just technology and platforms. I mean, a lot of our growth has been expanding in the platform space, and it's turned into a marketplace like an Amazon experience, and that shopping experience for the individual. I think we've done a lot to expand in that area. One of the other things that we've done as well is we just purchased iMart Express, which has 280 stores, locations basically. But the significance of that for us and for folks that you're distributing to and individuals, we bought them because we call them a provider desert. They're in areas and regions where most people don't have access. And so it's been a very significant not just a growth opportunity, but an opportunity to really be able to reach. Our focus is reaching members, reaching folks where they don't have access. So that's been a really big change or growth for VSP and for folks that are working with us.
I would say because of my experience and my tenure here at VSP, when I came to work here, we were private practice exclusively. I mean, there was, you say, a retail big box store. It was the worst thing you could possibly say at VSP. And the change in our board, the change in our senior leadership has been remarkable in that we have come to realize at some point that it's not what we want necessarily, it's what do our members want. In the provider desert, you have people that are out in rural areas that don't have access to a provider. And the iMart Express stores meet that need to a great degree. And so retail, I would say, if there's anything that's the biggest change, it's the makeup of the board and the decision-making process that the board goes through to evaluate change and making sure that it's progress.
Okay. I'm curious, so the iMart Express stores, does VSP have any say where they're located, or you guys said, hey, these guys just have figured it out already and we want everything you got?
No, so literally we're growing to another 50 stores in the next 2 years. And because they've identified areas that we need to reach people and grow. So we absolutely have a focus on growing that and specifically. And what's really key about it, we own VisionWorks as well, but what's really key about this particular iMart Express, an individual can walk in, pick out their glasses, have their lenses made while they're waiting in the store. So if they're driving far, like they are, because they haven't had access and they're driving an hour or 2 hours to go get their glasses, they can wait and go home with them. So they don't have to come back and go pick them up a couple weeks later. It's all done there while they're waiting. And we just see such an opportunity to reach people that haven't had that access before.
Yeah.
So
And it's
we're
very
really excited.
intentional where we're expanding to. We're not expanding to Jacksonville, Florida, that area. We're expanding to Palatka or a smaller town where they may not have access to an eye care provider. And the other thing is that they also provide exams there.
Yeah.
So it's a total one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, so when you talk about what are we doing that's new or innovative, I'm so passionate about that. It's because it is something it's ultimately helping reach people that need the service, need it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned technology too, which we know, I mean, that's in the insurance world, that's the buzzword, right? Everybody needs it. It's gone from being a nice to have to that's the baseline. If you're not doing it, you're probably not going to be around too long, right? So tell me a little bit on the technology side. Are you seeing user adoption? Are people ready to buy glasses online?
Yeah.
Completely?
Yeah. Actually, we own another company called Iconic, and it grows 5 to 10% every year. And you've got your younger demographics that are really adapting to it, but it also does help to reach folks that don't have access. Again, it is and they are adopting that technology, and you can do online try-ons. It is something that is absolutely growing in our industry.
And it's not just the young people. I have several partners that their focus is retirees. And when we do our partnership reviews with these folks, their usage for their members of Iconic, which is the online store, if you will, has grown every year. And overall, it's grown to the degree that Sharon's talked about.
But the long-term strategy, so you're investing in the brick and mortar stores while also investing in online. It seems like you guys have a really good balance there moving forward.
I totally believe it. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's making sure we're reaching folks that need, that have access and need it in every area. I think that's been really a significant piece.
So tell me a little bit about trends that you're seeing that maybe not necessarily the member, but what are some trends you're seeing in vision benefits that an insurance broker needs to be aware of?
Historically, brokers have been primarily focused on the big ticket items, the medical, maybe even dental to some degree. But I think that they're with the uncertainty, I guess is maybe the right word, in reimbursements to brokers and whether their entity is even going to pay a broker. They have realized how important it is to fill that gap with ancillary products.
Absolutely.
And ancillary can mean all kinds of things, as we know, from dental on down to disability. And so I think the broker community, and this is not happening today as much as it happened probably a year and a half ago, has realized that they need to diversify and to make better use of their ancillary offerings to sell to the member and to look for selling signs from that client, I should have said, to promote ancillary benefits to their to those individuals. It also makes them a lot stickier for the broker.
The more
product
do,
you can
yeah,
do,
that's right.
you don't want to leave Bill, my broker, because I do 10 things with them.
Right.
So.
And if you don't sell it to them, someone else will. Right?
Someone else is right behind you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you know, when we talk to brokers that kind of push the vision to the side, and because you're right, it's okay. It's not a huge ticket item. They're not making mega bucks selling it. But you know, let's be honest. If you can't see, glasses is a now problem, right? Mm-hmm. So if the company doesn't offer it, either employer paid or voluntarily, somebody spends a lot of money buying glasses. Yeah. I mean, it's not, I mean, I'm not to down other products, but you know, life insurance is a plan you use one time, right? And you probably personally aren't going to see the benefit from it, right? Disability, unfortunate, you're protecting your income, but if you can't see, you're buying glasses, right? And if you got insurance, it makes it a lot more economical for you, right?
And the impact of not being able to see to the overall health of the member and the wellness of the member is dramatic. If you can't see and you're walking in your living room and the rug is twisted a little bit and you fall and you're a senior, you might be breaking a hip, which could cause real down the road problems. So
you took that very dark right there, Warren.
Well,
maybe
sometimes
not having vision insurance makes you use your life insurance one day, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're right. But there are all things connected to the vision care of the member, and I think brokers are also coming to realize that the wellness part of this is very important. A routine comprehensive eye exam can detect things like hypertension, glaucoma, high blood pressure, diabetes, onset of diabetes.
You can detect all of that through an eye exam.
In fact, there are over 250 different CPT codes that can be detected through an eye exam. And we regularly see testimonials that come across of people that had a tumor that was detected during the eye exam. Not because they felt the tumor in the back of the skull, but they saw it through the eye exam itself.
Yeah, wellness is actually a really big piece of what we offer and what we hope really continues, not just for your vision, but it is a wellness. There is a wellness aspect that I don't think is focused on enough, and it is significant when they get their eye exam, and it is something that we absolutely provide through that eye exam.
Yeah, it's a wonderful benefit. You go to the doctor, you get a new pair of glasses, you look better, you feel better. Yeah, but
you don't fall down and break your hip.
And you don't trip over the dog as you're walking down the hallway. But there's the wellness component that the doctor has been able to look into your eye and see if there are signs of glaucoma, hypertension, diabetes, different medical conditions.
That's interesting. So it's not just for people that don't have 20/20 vision.
Absolutely. A routine periodic eye exam is one of the most important things, and I'm going to look it right into the camera. One of the most important things you can do.
Because I'm guilty. So
well, we'll work on that.
Okay, gotcha. Sharon, let's circle back to ICHRA, because I know that's one that's close to you right now. I know you've been doing a lot of work on that, and with a member now getting dollars to spend, obviously where you come into play is, okay, they bought their medical insurance, they've got some money left. they want vision, and somebody has to provide it, right? So, the big difference with ICHRA is your employer is not buying your insurance for you anymore. So tell us a little bit about how that looks for VSP and what you're doing to kind of partner with some of these brokers out there that are doing it.
I'm happy to. It hasn't been identified because it isn't something that's covered under the Big Beautiful Bill necessarily on the medical, but it is so significant, and folks do have income that they're being provided from their employer to buy. So we recognized it, and what I recognized, and I wrote a white paper on it, focusing on what does ICHRA mean in the ancillary world? Because it is different. And what does it mean to VSP particularly? And how do we look at it? So, and when I wrote it, it wasn't just for vision, it covered some of the other ancillaries that are important. And so we recognized that it's something we needed to offer. And we'd like to be able to offer because individuals need it because they're being given this money to buy their benefits. We needed, and we need technology because it is being offered through a technology or a platform. So we are partnered with Morgan White and helping to bring an opportunity in that we see for these employers to sell it. So it's been it's been a wonderful growth opportunity. What I think people don't realize is a lot of the ICHRA platforms in particular aren't necessarily offering ancillary yet, but it's still a need. So it's an opportunity for us to build something and offer it to these platforms and to folks that are out selling it to really enhance what that individual needs as a package, a full package to buy. So we've got a great partnership with Morgan White on that. We are looking at particular products that might fit into that space for people. What are their needs? And what they need to buy. So we're looking at do we have the right product that we're selling?
Do you see a different need for a potential ICHRA member than you do a true individual member?
Not necessarily. I mean, everybody they have the need. Yeah. And as Warren already mentioned, it isn't just for your glasses. You need to have an exam, an annual exam. So it is surprisingly growing more than we had expected it to, just because it has been identified as, gosh, I've got my medical now, I do need these others, and my employer isn't offering it to me, so how am I going to get it? So these platforms specifically for ancillary and Morgan White helping us with that has really helped with the distribution in that space.
What we've seen too, which I think is kind of a mishmash of how it should be delivered, but is some of these brokers going in and they're partnering with one of these platforms, they get the employer contribution, they buy the medical, and then OPS, when people are asking for other stuff, they turn around and slap a group plan back in there. So you're really not delivering on the full idea of, hey, Mr. Employer, you no longer have to do or worry about insurance. And hey, Mr. Employee, you get a choice of what you want to buy. So if you're kind of I'm doing it a little bit, but not all the way, I think to really deliver on what ICHRA can do, you got to do all of it.
I agree. 100%. I actually had a call with a broker recently who is doing exactly that. And mishmash is a great word because it's a little bit it's a disconnect. And it ultimately, I think, might confuse the member to a degree. So there is some work that needs to be done. And communication. I think some of these brokers don't know that opportunities exist, that they can utilize a particular platform or something to offer it as an individual basis. Right. I think there's concern, and they're still learning about it. I mean, it's an education.
That's right. Change is scary for anybody, and I mean, this is a big change. It's something that I don't know we've seen a change like this in the face of delivery of group benefits in quite some time.
So another thing that I had heard recently, and it's primarily focused on maybe the 20 to the 50, the small group. But I have actually seen and heard, because I've talked to some our consultants, the large consultants, they're actually using it as an opportunity when rates have gone up, kind of like 30% rate increases, as another avenue or another product they can bring in as just a suite of, hey, I know your rates have gone up over here. Let's talk about maybe there's another opportunity. So even in the large group market, you're starting to see some change.
So Sharon also mentioned that you've been really essential in some of the partnerships between the companies you've worked for and our company. So on that kind of path, tell us what you think makes a strong partnership, a broker partnership, a carrier partnership, or I know you're working with technology partnerships now. What in your mind makes a strong partnership?
Well, I mean, relationships are significant, key to me. Trust. I mean, I'm gonna list all those, but just I think communication. You have to continually be able to communicate. Marketing comes into play. Putting together the right messaging for our partners, and that they have it, they need it, they can use it. We will help in that way with our partners. Training is key. We need to work with our brokers and our partners to continually educate, like that wellness aspect. I mean, we're finding that, you need to just, it isn't just one thing. It's a multitude of things that I think we package together for those relationships. We're always looking at compensation. What makes sense? What's working for and what's reasonable for everybody for the long run. I tend to use this saying. It's a constant endurance race. You can't just build something and then, okay, this is great, quick technology, let's build it, it's done. It's not ever done. You have to continue like an endurance race to manage your partnerships and to manage the relationship and to keep it, to stay on top of it. I mean, you got to stay on top of it. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. One thing we've kind of seen in the last year is as our company has grown fairly quickly, is Ryan, my boss, he's got a saying. He said, distractions can show up at your door disguised as opportunities. And as you continue to grow and you're on more people's radar, everybody wants to be a partner with you. And it's important to figure out who is the best to really mutually provide value to each other, and not just who needs what I got, and then we have to go do all this and that, and maybe they can't hold up the end of their deal. So we found that first of all, long-term partnerships are extremely important to us. We love kind of what we've built with companies like VSP and a lot of other carriers we work with, technology partners, brokers. But we want to continue to grow. And I think, if you hitch your wagon to the wrong horse, I mean, you can waste a lot of time and get really nothing out of the other end of it other than maybe an expensive learning opportunity, right? I think we've learned that just because, the next person shows up with the next shiny thing, the people that are there and how they treat you and how credible you think they are is just as important, if not even more important, than the product or service that they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, because it's important to trust.
That's
I think
right,
what
trust,
you just talked
absolutely.
about. I mean, and it's bringing the bad news and bringing the good news.
That's right.
And I think that serves you well down the road in a long-term partnership.
We both focus a lot on brokers. I mean, that's our distribution, our main one. And, what we've done over the years is we have just added them up one at a time, literally. One guy here, one guy there, and it has become something massive. And, obviously we have, talking about partnerships kind of showing up on the doorstep, we have these partnerships with massive brokers, with, their own technology and stuff they're building themselves. But I would say our sweet spot is probably more the independent agent, the small guy that needs product, they need technology, and they don't have any massive entity behind them doing it for them. So we kind of cut our teeth doing that type stuff. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing to make a broker's life easier.
I think it's almost runs parallel to how we treat the member as much as the broker. That folks enroll in these programs and they can stop at any time. We ask for a 1 year premium, but there's nothing keeping them. We're not going to chase them down if they don't pay that premium. But with the brokers, nurturing, because you can create the easiest thing in the world in your ivory tower, to your mind that this is so simple. But if you don't train properly, if you don't continue to train properly, I think that brokers will lose interest in the product. They'll be approached by a competitor, another shiny object, and they won't feel connected to the carrier as they should be. So it's not just running out a product and a high commission schedule. It's also making sure that you nurture that member to get them to continue to pay their premium to us, and also the broker to continue to sell our product top of mind when he or she sees a need for a vision program.
Yeah, and building an enrollment platform that's just easy. Yeah. Real easy. And then what we're also seeing is we have to adjust to how many different ways people like to pay. I mean, that has come up. I mean, do you do this? Do you do that? I mean, my daughter now uses, she doesn't have a checking account. So, I mean, being malleable to all of that and open to all that for the broker, I think is significant. And I think we've both done a good job of making it easy for the broker.
Yeah. Coming to the member and coming to the broker instead of asking them to come to us, I think is important.
Sharon and Warren, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate, one, your partnership with us first and foremost, but also kind of your knowledge, your perspective on the industry. I think you guys really have your finger on the pulse of what's going on, and that's exciting to me. I love seeing a carrier that really is interested in moving forward and innovating and giving the people what they want. So, we appreciate what you guys are doing, and thanks for joining us today.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.